The beginning of the DCU is just a few days away with the release of Superman. So in honor of its release today, let's go over everything you need to know before watching the movie. Let's begin with the cast and characters, of course starting with David Corenswet, who is going to be playing Superman. And he is honestly just perfect for the role. Every time I see him in a trailer, he just looks like he was ripped straight from the comics. I also just love how dedicated he's been for the role, so I'm very excited to see his take on the character. Plus, his name is also David, like me, and he really likes Star Wars, which is super awesome.
Great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million. The Force will be with you, always.
Then we have Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, and the more I see of her through the trailers and all the promotional videos, the more I can tell that she's just going to be a great Lois Lane.
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Superman.
It's super crazy because I still remember when David and Rachel were announced as these characters 2 years ago, and now here we are less than a week away from seeing them on the big screen. Then we have Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, who is looking awesome and very funny. From the trailers alone, you can tell just how much he hates Superman. Plus, he has one of my favorite clips from the trailers so far. Then there's Sarah Sampaio, who will play Eve Teschmacher as Lex's assistant and maybe even his love interest. Some other superpowered characters are going to be Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner, Isabella Merced's Hawkgirl, Anthony Carrigan's Metamorpho, and Eddie Gaddegi's Mr. Terrific. Then there's also Maria Gabriella's Engineer, Frank Grillo's Rick Flag Sr., Sean Gunn's Maxwell Lord, the Hammer of Baravia, and Ultraman, whose actors we don't know yet. Then for the Daily Planet characters, we got Skylar Gisando's Jimmy Olsen, Michaela Hoover's Kat Grant, Beck Bennett's Steve Lombard, and Wendell Pierce's Perry White. Plus we have Bradley Cooper as Jor-El, Neva Howell as Martha Kent, and Pruitt Taylor Vince as Jonathan Kent. Not to mention Millie Alcock's Supergirl and Jason Momoa's Lobo, who potentially could show up at the very end or in a post-credits scene. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of characters in this movie, setting up the world really well. But wait, that's not all of them, because of course we have the best character of all, Krypto. Now let's go over the actual story, which we don't know too much about, to be honest. However, James Gunn has definitely revealed some information, and the trailers do give us things we can talk about. Gunn has said that this movie won't be an origin story for Superman, but will instead be about his early years as a hero in Metropolis, learning how to be the beacon of hope in a world already full of other superheroes. However, there may be some flashbacks with Jor-El, as well as with Jonathan and Martha. He could also be exploring his Kryptonia upbringing in the Fortress of Solitude. Gunn also explained that he wants this movie to highlight kindness and hope, which are themes that Superman has always stood for. Metropolis alone just looks very colorful and bright, which adds to these themes and feels very comic accurate. From the trailers, the story we can kind of piece together is that Superman interferes in a war between Baravia and Jarhanpur, if I said both those names correctly, which he receives a lot of backlash for. In his interview with Lois Lane, he explains that he only interfered because people were dying, but Lois says that it's not that simple to just interfere in a war just like that. This is where Lex Luthor comes in because he hates Superman since he feels like he is stealing his fame and power. It seems like somehow Lex is involved in the creation of the Hammer of Baravia, Ultraman, Metamorpho, and this kaiju monster. At some point, Lex will also break into the Fortress of Solitude with Eve and the Engineer, where he'll destroy the robots and kidnap Krypto.
Where's the dog?
Dog.
The dog, Luthor! You took the dog!
Superman will also be living his double life as Clark Kent at the Daily Planet, but even then it seems like Lois will find out his true identity pretty early on. Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, and Mr. Terrific are going to be part of the Justice Society of America, which is founded by Maxwell Lord. And for the Peacemaker Season 2 teaser, we know that Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, and Maxwell Lord will be in it, potentially recruiting Peacemaker to their team. And then there was also this first look at Superman's suit, and in the background there's some crazy thing going on that may be involved in the finale of the movie, or with Brainiac. But yeah, that was a ton of information, but I'm very excited to see how it all plays out and pieces together when it finally comes out. As we all know, James Gunn is the director of the movie, and he already has a lot of experience with superheroes since he directed all the Guardians movies, the Guardians Holiday Special, the Suicide Squad, and some episodes of Peacemaker. He also wrote and produced Creature Commandos, and I really like what James Gunn has done in the past, especially with the Guardians, so I'm very excited to see him lead this next era for DC. He seems very passionate about Superman and for creating a good story in general that stays true to the character and the comics, which is just amazing. Well everyone, thank you all so much for watching this video detailing everything you need to know for Superman. Superman has been one of my favorite superheroes ever since I was a kid, so I'm super excited and I hope you guys enjoy the film when it comes out. Other than that, thank you again, and we'll see you in the next one.